Two guys of Minnesota sports flowing in their veins. Mackey and Judd on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Write this down. Write it down. You like writing things down.
The OG edition of Write That Down. 10 years of putting statistics next to our predictions like absolute fools, showing you how wrong we are on a regular basis. We got the sports dad, Judd. We got gloriously mustached producer Declan turning heads in the Twins clubhouse. Rocco Baldelli unable to concentrate during his media sessions because
is that what happened last night?
Baseball stash.
Well, on Sunday in the post game before it started, he just looked me dead in the eyes because I was like, it was a packed room, and I was like in the back, and he was like, I can't take my eyes off the mustache. And then yesterday in pregame, I'm like behind him in his office. I'm never in that spot. Again, it was kind of crowded, so I just went behind him. He looks around. He goes, Deck, the mustache, what do we got today? So like he's
it's a thing.
He's
now.
Enthralled with the mustache. And well, they lost 16-4 last night, so maybe I changed the juju or something because that was an ass kicking of all ass kickings last night.
Yeah, that was pretty. I think they were they haven't had many of those, I feel like, this season. They were they had one like a week ago to end was it the A's game?
Oh, yeah.
Or whatever it was.
Those
the
two
fourth
will,
game, Thursday.
Those two will hurt the run differential on the season.
Yeah.
That'll do some damage. That'll little gut check time for the run differential.
I think there's a more important question here. Is Declan becoming a distraction?
For the Twins, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you go in there with that stash, and now they're all like, oh, my God, the stash, and they're not playing good baseball.
They're jealous. They're thinking about it. You know, I think what I would do if I were Declan is wrap that mustache around some Pep's Legit Pizza.
Oh. Yeah, I've done it before. I've done that.
Oh.
I've done it. What are you talking about?
Oh, that stone-baked, cracker-thin, crunchy crust.
What do you mean?
That robust sauce. The melty cheese hanging off of Declan's mustache while he smiles with approval, chewing those last bites. It's the best frozen pizza on the market, at least according to this one pizza expert right here, Macadac. Yeah, you can find legit pizzas in the freezer section of a grocery store in a year and have an authentic at-home pizza parlor experience. So enjoy yourself. Also, for all you soccer fans out there, all you Judd Zulgads, the quarterfinals of the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup are coming to Minneapolis Sunday, June 29th at US Bank Stadium, the premier national team tournament of the summer. And you get to see two epic matches with one ticket at US Bank Stadium. Some of the biggest stars from across the region are going to do battle Sunday, June 29th at US Bank Stadium. Tickets at Ticketmaster.com. You can also find out information at goldcup.com/tickets. All right.
Write this down.
Well, here's how it works. It's 3 predictions from everybody each week. They must be quantifiable. We keep track of batting averages and home runs. And listeners, if you want to participate, you can send Declan a message through the Score North app. Ben's going to jump on here and make some predictions. But we'll start with the accountability session. Judd, may you step up to the podium here and be held accountable.
Okay.
You had one thing come off the board, and it was a green thing for you. You said the NBA will adopt some type of format in their All-Star game that's an international game or event of some kind. Well, Adam Silver announced, it was last week, that they're going to do the United States versus the world or whatever, versus Europe or something.
Yeah.
And some people have poked holes in it like, well, there's really not like an even amount of United States top players versus world top players every year. So there's going to be like 3 or 4 guys that might be snubbed in favor of lesser than players on the other side. So they'll kind of figure that out. But.
Yeah, and they're 100% trying to copy a little bit of what hockey did with the 4 Nations tournament. But the problem there is that was an actual tournament in which guys worked very hard and got hurt to win. I don't know this is gonna. I don't know there's a good way to do an all-star game now. I just don't.
Baseball is
like beyond baseball. Yeah.
Baseball's is fine. Like it's fine.
Yep, I agree.
It's not what it used to be. It's fine.
Right. It doesn't deserve to be killed.
Yeah.
Every other
baseball's
All-Star
is
game.
fine because pitchers have pride and don't want to give up 3-run homers.
Yeah.
So it's like it's inherently more competitive. Basketball, guys don't care as much. Like they want to get their offense in. Hockey, they want to get their offense in.
Right.
And they're not going to like get posterized and risk.
And I think the most important thing in hockey in hockey's All-Star game and basketball too, and I don't blame guys, is they don't want to exert themselves to where they might, twist an ankle, get hurt, right? Like baseball, baseball, you are not as likely to get hurt unless like you get hit by a pitch or you decide to slam into a wall. So, but yeah, baseball's the only one that I wouldn't kill. I would kill every other All-Star game.
Yeah, I like how the NFL came to terms with that. I mean, it's like football, you're not going to go all out. And they said, we're not even going to do this anymore. We're just going to do like fun games and just bring guys together, whatever. All right, I had a couple things come off the board. I said Royce Lewis would homer in his next game. He's been on fire, but he did not homer. And I said Kevin Garnett would appear at a Timberwolves game at some point in the regular season or playoffs. Just clinging to the Glenn Taylor hate until
I want to know what gets him back now, though.
End.
Like, okay, so in the next couple of weeks, it sounds like the ownership change is going to be approved, right?
Yes.
So, and I mean, Glenn is still going to go to games. We know that. So, like, is KG just going to, like, once the team has changed hands, does that fix it or?
I mean, well, for sure, a jersey retirement ceremony would make it happen. But I think also, I can't confirm this necessarily, but I think that Alex and Mark and company are open to him being part of the organization in some way. I don't know if it's like a very small minority stake or if it's like some sort of ambassador, vice president type role where he can come in and be hands-on. Right. KG's talked about wanting to do something that's more like Twin Cities based and have an impact on like the sports scene or the.
Let's do baby steps first, KG.
Like how about just like sit under the basket for a game?
Exactly. Before we start this, like changing the sports landscape here. Which, by the way, that's great. Yeah. But yeah, let's just start with baby steps.
All right, listeners had a rough week here. Brad said the Twins would sweep the Blue Jays.
Ew.
Our guy Ross Brendel said Daniel Freitag would, I believe the spirit here was enter the transfer portal from Wisconsin and play for the Gophers this year. He went to Buffalo. Dylan said the Vikings would draft a running back in the first round. I should have taken this off the board weeks ago, and he would surpass 1,000 rushing yards. Mike said this will be PJ Fleck's last season as Gopher football coach last year. Yeah, I figured I'd give this just through like kind of the spring crazy season, but now that we're 2.5 months away from the start of that season, and like he's not going anywhere, so nor should he. Declan, you said John Cena and Randy Orton would square off in some type of match before Cena's retirement tour ends.
That's right.
And they did a few weeks ago. Yep.
Yeah, Backlash. And I don't know if I have this on the board, but I think I have a Cena and Punk one. I think I might have made something about that, and they teased that on Monday, that Punk challenged Cena for a title shot.
Well, let's go through the archives here. I'm not seeing any Cena Punk things in here for you. So actually, Judd might have stolen that one.
Judd, Judd's a big Punk guy, just like me. So I know you like Punk, Judd.
I do like Punk.
Great on the mic. I think the best of all time on the mic.
Yep. In the old days, so Punk, though, is an interesting case because in the old days, in the 90s, that guy would have had to roid himself up beyond belief, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, most guys, like in the 80s, for sure. 80s and maybe early 90s. Yeah. So with that here, look at the statistics here, guys.
Dude.
It's crazy. So here are the batting averages right now.
Hot.
And it's Super Bowl to Super Bowl. You are hot lately, but you
don't do slumps, right?
You're in third place. Yeah. So I'm at 261. Judd's at 260. Declan 259. Listeners 239. So everyone's separated by 22 points, 1 through 4, and all four of us have 3 home runs apiece on the season. So this runs Super Bowl to Super Bowl. This is as tight as it's ever been through the first 4 or 5 months of a season.
Write this down.
Buckle up, boys.
I think the story here, because I've been meh all year. I think the story here is Declan was awful and has gotten hot, and Phil was red hot and has come down.
Yeah, we're also dealing in early season small sample sizes. We're a bad 3-week stretch or a good
Dex.
3-week stretch.
Yeah, Dex, your run's not that impressive.
Yeah, here we go.
It's not. You're hitting 259. What do you mean?
That was great, Judd. Speaking of a heel promo right there, that was some tag team work, just baiting them. That was awesome.
So Declan still leads the all-time average category, 343. Judd has the most hits at 366. And listeners with 73 home runs, stuck on 73 home runs right there. All right, dudes. There's your accountability session. The red hot Declan Goff. We'll see if he
Flying
can
off
officially
the handle.
climb out of third place.
Write that down. These guys can't work in the same studio because the animosity runs so high.
Let's get our guy Ben in here. Ben, we were talking to Ben at the Flagrant Howls Unplugged event. And I think what we all thought was going to happen in that Oklahoma City series didn't quite play out that way, Ben.
Classic Minnesota sports, How are they going to let you down? But you got to go along for the ride,
Yeah, you gotta just kind of understand that even if you're super confident, something's going to happen.
And by the way,
going to happen.
The Bricksworth brews they had were pretty. They had like so many references to Minnesota sports in some of their brews. It's pretty impressive. Like a Nas Reed. I don't know. Yep. They went all out. I mean, they took the Surly, vibe of. By the way, your Surly beer's still out there too, right? There is a Surly beer still out there. Yes,
yes, there is, and we hope the people are enjoying it. So,
all right,
there was a good run with Surly for a few years there, and
Diplomat.
That beer still exists. So, Ben, give us your current take on the Wolves off season. What's going to happen in the next few weeks?
Honestly, I'm not the best on that. I mean, maybe I'll shift to just give you my backstory of a fan, because I'm not going to have anything good to offer on Wolves. I'll leave that up to you and Craig Kilborn.
Sure, that's fine.
But just, grew up in Michigan, actually. My dad went to the U of M. My parents are from Minnesota. So I did come back here in 2006. And I've been here for 18 years, and I was a valet downtown between 2006, 2011. And I feel like I had a lot of interesting run-ins with sports celebrities and some anecdotes that are kind of funny. But, wouldn't you say that between 2006 and 2011, between the Twins and the Vikings, there's a lot of stuff that happened, like interesting stuff. Like
big time.
New Twin Stadium, dome collapses, Adrian Peterson. But I would say, as I was reflecting on my time, I had some interesting run-ins. A couple of anecdotes would be, as I was reflecting on my run-ins, I was like, I've had the unique set of skills to disappoint Brad Childress, Ron Gardenhire, and Ron Jaworski. And, when the moment you meet those guys, like
you disappointed them, or they or it was like a don't meet your heroes type of a thing on your end?
Well, so Brad Childress pulls up at the hotel. I hold his car. He has this big keychain with like 3 thumb drives on it. And I'm like, oh man, I want to put those thumb drives in my valet office computer and see what's on them, But then this drunk guest comes out with this huge glass of wine. He's like, hey, he rips a $20 bill in half. He's like, go get me a pack of cigarettes. I'll give you the other half when you get back. I'm holding Brad Childress' keys, and I'm like, I gotta make $20. So I just run down to by Sneaky Pete's, grab cigarettes, run back, and there's Brad Childress. John Travolta, empty room, like, where's my keys? Where's my car?
Oh no.
And I just disappointed. But and then the other time
Brad Childress thought you were stealing his car keys.
Yeah.
Wow. Where's my
and then Ron Gardner, I was working at the Grave. It used to be the Graves, the Lofton. Yeah. And I was the AV guy, and their Twins were having some year-end video thing, and the AV cord went out, and I just froze. And everyone was. I remember seeing Ron Gardenhire's disappointment on his face to me, because the sound cut out of the DVD. Everyone was staring at me. I'm just like, you win a bad cord.
Was this like the media luncheon? Because I remember there was a couple years.
Yeah.
I think, if I remember right, one of those years, like Jerry Bell was announced that Jerry Bell was going to go in the Twins Hall of Fame. And I remember getting stuck in an elevator with Delman Young. Was it the year that was it like 2008?
It was 2010.
Okay. Yeah, they held it there for a few years.
So you were blamed, though, unfairly here. With Childress, I'll say this, you probably screwed out.
Yeah.
I did.
Well, also,
But I
like,
made
if you're
20
the
bucks.
AV guy and there's an issue with the AV system, like, that's also kind of on you. You know, like, you're there to do that
But
job.
sometimes a cord just cuts out, and I was froze. I mean, I was over my head. But yeah, so and then Ron Jaworski, I was actually the Monday Night Football crew was staying up at the hotel, and I was giving Ron Jaworski and Mike Tirico directions to a restaurant or something, and I was giving directions, and I punched Ron Jaworski right in the face when I was like pointing where to go, and I'm like, I'm sorry, like I don't know. There's so many stories because there's Valet downtown Minneapolis that time. There's so many, but I just tried to think of a few anecdotes.
We got to keep Ben away from the B-list sports celebrities. Is the moral here? I think he's either gonna steal your keys, your thumb drive.
It's Sandler like to me, I can envision all of these things being in a Sandler type film.
Oh, hey, actually, can you guys guess which number 7 jersey this is?
Is it Cunningham?
It's faded. So, I mean, Dex, you guess Cunningham. It's Cunningham. Was he 7? I'm bad with numbers.
What other
T-Jack?
7?
Was T-Jack a 7?
Yeah, T-Jack was 7.
Here, does this help?
Oh, it's started.
It kind of gives it away.
Okay.
So Cunningham.
It's Cunningham.
Cunningham.
Yeah,
Cunningham.
Yeah, okay.
That's a solid one.
That's good. Yeah. So, wow. So keep Ben away from local sports figures. Dang. Keep him away from Judd's camp notes. Ben, you're going to start off here with your first prediction. Then Judd, Dex, back to me. We'll make 3 trips around this glorious virtual room here.
All right.
Fire away.
Well, I'm going to try to do, keep going with dingers here. But, maybe a dinger in 10 to 15 ballparks. Not, I'm my son's Little League baseball coach. So, I tell the kids, you got to see the pitcher. You work with what he's going. If this pitcher's way off, you wait for a good pitch. If the pitcher's throwing heaters, you gotta strike and protect the plate. That's kind of like Minnesota sports. You gotta kind of wait and see what's the sports vibe. What's the sports vibe this year? What are they throwing at us? So, first take Twins parlay on September 21st, the last home game for the Twins, which is interesting. They have 2 series away to end the year. Twins will not be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. When they tie the series with Cleveland, because it's a 4-game series. So they will win or tie. And then the third thing, they will eventually miss the playoffs. So they won't be mathematically eliminated. They'll give us, some hope. There'll be about 6 games left. They'll win or tie the series, and they will miss the playoffs. So 3 things, parlay. Does that work?
Yeah.
Yep.
Love that.
Absolutely. Your heart's been ripped out, and you can't take it anymore.
The specificity.
Yeah.
Okay,
Right.
Judd, your first prediction.
All right. Actually, my first prediction is going to be on golf, U.S. Open related.
That one too.
I'm going with Scotty Scheffler to win the Open at Oakmont this weekend. Now, Scheffler's won
Oakmont. Let's put some respect on one of the legacy U.S. Open courses.
Fantastic course. Yeah. Very, very difficult. Scheffler's won the Masters twice. He's won the PGA. He was the runner-up at the Open in 2022. He's never won it, so Scotty Scheffler will win the U.S. Open.
That's a nice, bold prediction there from our golf guy, Judd.
That's exactly right. This is a monster of a course. This thing's going to be tough. Bikini waxed on those greens.
Did you see some of there's videos going around of like, somebody just tossing a ball on the green and watching it roll for
I've been
200
doing my
feet.
I've been doing my research. It's going to drive men to cry.
As the U.S. Open often does, or to break a club, or to hit a sprinkler head. Okay, Dex, your first prediction.
All right, I'll make mine as well for the U.S. Open then. Write this down. The winner of the U.S. Open will shoot between 5 under and 9 under.
Whoa.
A very specific amount of number
9
one. It's very rare guys shoot low scores at U.S. Opens. It's very rare. And the amount of guys that shoot under par are also in a small range. So the winner will shoot between 5 under and 9 under exact in that range. Did I steal your exact prediction,
Kind of.
Phil?
Let me workshop mine out loud here since we're all doing U.S. Open predictions.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
So there's a long history of U.S. Opens at Oakmont. Going back to 1927 was the first ever. Tommy Armour won the first ever U.S. Open there.
That. He was great.
Yep. Judd was a young lad.
Yep. Taking notes.
Firing up your radio broadcast of the U.S. Open. And here comes Tommy Armour walking down the 18th fairway, waving his cap to the crowd.
Armour's like, this course is awful.
I think he enjoyed that course, considering he won in a playoff. Actually, it looks like, according to Wikipedia. So my prediction was going to be that in the multiple times that this course has hosted a U.S. Open, this is the 10th U.S. Open at Oakmont. The best winning score is -5 all time, which makes Declan's prediction. But you included the -5, and -5 has been hit twice. So I was going to say we will set a new record for lowest winning score in relation to par, which is different enough from Declan. So I'll say -6 or better will be the winning score this week at Oakmont. We're going to push this thing to a new level.
Wow, you
Write
guys
it
are
down.
confident.
You like writing things down.
A couple times ago, it was the 8th U.S. Open at Oakmont in 2007. Angel Cabrera was the champion.
Oh, yeah.
+5 was the winning score.
Yeah.
+5, dude.
9 under would be phenomenal.
It would shatter the previous record
Yeah,
at
so-
U.S. Open.
Yep.
At Oakmont, anyways. Okay.
Write this down.
All right, back to Ben for your.
Does that
second
give
prediction.
Dex a home run for his prediction then?
I mean, probably that's the thing. It's like you included the -5.
I have a range.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Anyways.
It's probably I don't know if it's a home run.
It's the
Chunk
yeah.
play.
It's if it's -6 or better, it would be historical. So
Oh,
I think probably both of us. I mean, the range doesn't really. The range makes it a little bit. The chances of someone going -10 at a course that's never been better than -5 over 4 rounds, I'd say both of these are probably home runs, because we're essentially saying that it'll be at or better. It'll tie or break the record historically at this
Good
golf
luck on
course.
that, guys.
So,
Good luck.
Write it
All right.
down. You like writing things
all right,
So
down.
Ben.
I'm going to do a Vikings parlay. I'm going to say that Vikings defense will have a turnover against the Bears in the first game of the season. They will have a choreographed celebration, and it will be led by Theo Jackson and Josh Metellus.
Okay, so Theo is going to step into the choreography role there.
Picking it up, huh? Picking up the baton.
That's a home run, right?
I love
Write
it.
it down. You
Yes.
like writing
Yep.
things
Very
down.
specific.
I think so, for sure. Yep. Okay, Judd.
The Twins will sign or acquire a pitcher with major league experience before July 1st.
Okay.
The Twins will sign. I know. Look, folks, I'm not
before July 1st. Got it. Okay.
before July 1st. And look, folks, I'm not expecting them to go get an ace or something. I know cheap poll ads and they're being sold, so I don't disagree with you. But I'm sorry, you can't continue to do what they did last night. Sim was absolutely putrid. And so I think they got to go get somebody that can competently start some games and at least give them a little bit of depth. So that'll be before July 1st. But major league experience is the key.
Just a quick
Write it
question. Do you
down. You like
think
writing things
Joe
down.
Ryan will represent the Twins in the All-Star game?
I think Duran has the best pitching chance right now, right, Declan?
Duran or Joe.
Yeah. I could see it.
It's a good segue because write this down. Byron Buxton starts in center field for the American League in the All-Star game this year.
Oh, wow.
I'll put this. I'll make this. And we talked about this with Plouffe yesterday. There really isn't. Who else would make the best case for this? Like in terms of true center field, Bellinger's having a good year, but he splits time between left and center. He has the
it's
Yankee effect, which
semantics.
helps. But like, Byron Buxton is by far the best two-way center fielder in the American League this year.
But he has to get it has to be voted still, right? Like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
he has to
it's not-
win. That's the problem. Like he's not going to get the. I don't. And when does the first batch of results come out? Usually it's
Soon,
in June.
because they're teasing it. They're pumping it like hell
Vote
to vote
for-
early,
vote
vote
Twins.
often thing.
I just don't know how many people around like New York and the big markets that stuff the ballot boxes are going to vote for him. That's the only.
They just sit
The only
online
flaw in the logic.
and run programs to vote 87,000 times a day.
It is. Yeah, you can. You can do
Does he
that.
have
Okay.
800
Write this
OPS right now?
I hate that.
He has he had a 3-hit game yesterday and had a 3-walk game on Sunday. He's having a nice little run at the plate here.
Yeah. Okay, boys, write this down. So this goes along with my Rudy Gobert will be traded this summer thing, and they'll need to bring in like a younger rim protecting big. So I'm going to say this: one of these two players will be, or maybe both, but I don't see how that would. I'll just say at least one of these two players will be a Wolf by opening night. Walker Kessler or Nick Claxton. A couple of younger bigs. There was a story out yesterday that the Jazz are open to trading Walker Kessler as opposed to maybe giving him a contract.
Write this
So
down.
we'll see. There's gonna be chaos. The fact that only one team has significant cap space to sign a free agent means that the only way to make your team different or better is to trade. And so teams are going to be very, very active.
Write this down.
We'll see. Okay, Ben, back to you for your third and final prediction.
All right, we're going to do another parlay. We're going to do Twins Vikings parlay. So on September 22nd, last one was on September 1st, 22nd. The Vikings will have more or less points scored than the Twins wins. So off record, let's say the Twins maybe get 85 wins. Vikings would have played 3 games, so they need probably 28 points per game. So it's kind of a, and then along with that, the Vikings will be 2-1 or better. So is that enough for a home run?
I mean,
So I'm guessing the Twins win total, Vikings point per game total, and 2-1 or better.
Yeah. Yep. I think there's enough there for a dinger for Ben.
Maybe in 10, 15 ballparks, maybe not all of them.
Yeah. Maybe. Well, that definitely in Fenway down the right field line for sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know, like the home run we saw the other day. So, well, since you've got this life-altering platform here, Ben, is there anyone in your life or any other B-level Minnesota sports celebrities that you would like to shout out before we say goodbye?
No, I just, thanks for the content you guys provide on a daily basis. It's awesome. And thank my dad, big sports fan growing up, got me into all the sports, watching Bobby Jackson and Sam Jacobson, what in the early days, all the way through, crying at the NFC Championship game in 1998. Just thankful to Minnesota sports in general. I mean, they're going to let you down, but we could do worse. We could be a worse city. So just thanks, Minnesota sports. Thanks, Sports Dad, Mackey, Dex. You guys are awesome. Oh, and Matthew Collar, please unblock me from X. COVID was a weird time. I made some weird jokes. Please unblock me if you're here out there. And I'm sorry.
Wow. Well, I know he's a daily consumer of everything that we do here, I'm sure. So hopefully you heard
Benjamin
that.
Harris, at Benjamin Harris, please, if you look through your blocks.
Please unblock.
So, thanks,
our
Ben.
guy, Ben. All right, Ben. Appreciate you, man.
Thanks,
good luck
guys.
with your predictions, and good luck with any awkward exchanges with Twins managers or Vikings coaches. Hey, before we make our final predictions here, Judd had an awkward exchange with MSP Plumbing one time. Not because they were awkward, but Judd is kind of awkward. Letting people into his house.
That's just absolutely not true. No. When they came to my house, I welcomed them in. Anything but awkward, because guess what? I said, MSP, you guys are fantastic. And they said, oh, okay, thank you very much, Sports Dad. And it was an exchange that was absolutely great. And if you are prepared now to get a new ACC system, MSP is making your upgrade even better in the month of June. Install new equipment, get a free pristine air cleaner, a major boost in comfort and air quality. Give them a call at 651-615-4292 or check out their website, callmsp.com. MSP, a trusted community-focused partner for more than, get this, 100 years. MSP, call msp.com. Even if you're socially awkward, they're going to make it so simple at MSP.
That's right. The folks at Dennis Kirk, I think, they're pretty socially adjusted, I feel like, at Dennis Kirk, and they're here to help you with your riding needs. Whether it's motorcycles, ATVs, UTVs, dirt bikes, snowmobiles, whatever it is that you ride, Dennis Kirk has over 185,000 parts, apparel, and accessories, same-day shipping on orders placed before 6 p.m. Central, and free shipping on orders over $89. So you can check them out. Parts for over 20 different makes of motorcycles. All you Ragnars out there, Dennis Kirk has your back. DennisKirk.com to find out more information.
Write this down.
All right, Judd, what's your third and final prediction?
All right, I'm going to stay on the Twins theme here. We talked about on, I believe it was Monday's show, about Bailey Ober's velo being consistently down. And he says it's mechanical. I don't know about that. I'm sure it partially is, but I'm also concerned. So Bailey Ober will have at least one of his starts skipped before the month is over. They're going to skip a start. There's going to be, I'm just not buying it's all mechanics. I think something's up. So he will have at least one of his starts skipped before June is over.
Boy, that would be problematic considering where their pitching staff's at right now.
Like Deck said, though, man, when it starts, it just it's like a gully effect, right? It's like it just cascades down on you. You lose guys.
You got that. I mean, not to say it because the velo is concerning, but when you are 6'9" and the extension you have releasing the ball, you can get away with not having to pump 96, 97. But when a velo drops like that, that is possibly problematic.
Yep.
All right, write this down.
Write it down. You like writing things down.
I'll make a Twins pitching acquisition as well. The Twins will acquire an arm between now and the trade deadline who has pitched in the postseason.
Okay.
Spirit of this is I think they'll get some type of arm by the trade deadline that either bolsters the bullpen. The back end of that, it's looking a little shaky now with Jorge Alcala being a sacrificial lamb also yesterday and wearing that one against Texas. Or they get another starter too that has playoff experience. So they'll acquire an arm that has playoff experience between now and the deadline.
I enjoy hunting for the bad beat scenarios here, and one of them would be Tyler Mahle. Tyler Mahle would be a bad beat in this case because he's never pitched a playoff game before, but would be potentially a logical, awesome upgrade.
Yep.
Of course, you got to stop losing to Texas. You need Texas to drop games so that they are more willing to.
I have one simple question. Tyler, you're in town. Is your arm sore?
Yeah. Let's
we got him back.
Quick.
We got my arm, my shoulder.
Parade
Write
labrum.
this down.
Oh man. Okay, let's make one more Timberwolves recklessly speculative. I think there's going to be a lot of rumors swirling here, and so I want to put a few names out there if I could and say that there will be, and we have to subjectively gauge like the credibility of the report, not NBA Central on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, I think we've got a pretty good handle on this.
There will be a credible report linking the Timberwolves via trade with one of these four players. I'll throw 4 players out.
Mm-hmm.
Lonzo Ball, Kobe White, Colin Sexton, Drew Holiday.
Ooh, okay.
All of them either scoring combo guards and or organizers of offense that could potentially really help this team next to Anthony Edwards. So I just saw that we can do this on Flagrant Howls at some point, but like the Drew Holiday is a guy that turns 35 years old tomorrow, actually, that might get traded. He's been the final piece to 2 teams that won a championship. The Bucks, boom, and then the Celtics. But he's a little older, obviously, than he was when he joined those 2 teams.
Right.
And you'd have to find a way to make the money work at $32 million plus the $100 million left on the deal. But I think we've been kind of having fun with the Giannis KD stuff, but there's a level below that probably makes more sense if the Wolves are going to do something. Mm-hmm. So they will be credibly linked to at least one of those 4 players. Write it down. Also, just like before the beginning of the season, if you want like a deadline on it.
Write this down.
So there we go, boys. Those are the Write That Down predictions, the accountabilities here. The OG edition of Write That Down on Minnesota Sports with Mackey and Judd.